Backpacking obviously requires gear. Some is necessary to survival. Shelter, food, fire. But then there's the gear that you find only makes the trip that much better. Sort of accessories to the main gear. In this video, I have 6 things I found recently that make my backpacking trips that much more enjoyable and even easier. I travel quite a bit to go backpacking, and more often than not, I'm having to stay at a hotel before or after the trip. This means that I have to bring extra clothing with me that I would never take backpacking, so this also means I'm gonna need to carry a second backpack to store a day or two's worth of clothing. By far, my favorite is the Theota UL. It is the perfect size to carry on any airline I've ever been on. It also doubles as a framed backpacking backpack. It has a removable frame and hip belt, a place for your laptop, tons of other pockets for storage, and it opens up wide to access the entire bag just like standard luggage. I cannot say enough good things about this backpack. Chairs on a backpacking trip are becoming more popular over the past few years, but there's very few ultralight chairs to choose from. The Nemo Moonlight Elite is brand new, ultralight, and it even reclines. Out of all the ultralight chairs I've tried, this one is by far the most comfortable. The included case doubles as a pad to stop it from sinking into dirt and mud, and well-marked color-coded corners make it really easy to snap the corners into place. The chair will hold up to 250 pounds for you pleasantly plump individuals. This next accessory is more than an accessory. It's actually a really vital part of all of my trips that I go on, especially ones that are really strenuous, and those seem to happen, well, pretty often. Hiking for miles and miles and miles can really dehydrate you and make you feel really sick and oftentimes just absolutely miserable. I find that I get headaches or even lightheadedness, and sometimes the effects of altitude sickness will start to kick in. That's when I will bust out my Element drink mix, and I take it on every single trip that I go on, and I have for the past 3 years. You become less thirsty in both cold weather and at high elevations, but that doesn't mean you're hydrated. This is one of those few exceptions in which hydrating beyond thirst, within reason and with electrolytes, may actually be a useful protocol. You may not feel super thirsty, but you are losing fluids and electrolytes that need to be replaced. With Element, you're pumping in 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I found that when I start to get that dizzy, early signs of elevation sickness and I pound down one of these elements, it actually makes me feel 100 times better. Huge shout out to Element for sponsoring this video. These videos would not be possible without our sponsors, so please support us by supporting our sponsors. I'll make sure I put a link in the description below, and Element will send you a free sample pack with a purchase with no questions asked refunds. Click the link in the description below. I am sort of a coffee snob. My coffee of choice at home is Lavazza Super Crema, and I like to make it speedy, so I make it in this Jura S8. Yeah, definitely massive overkill, I know, but it makes for an amazing cup of coffee. So when I go backpacking, I want to experience good coffee as well. My coffee of choice has been Starbucks Via because it's super easy to make on trail, and it actually tastes like coffee. And believe me, I've tried lots of different instant coffees. Recently, I got a package in the mail from Swift Coffee. They are a specialty instant coffee maker, and they actually helped introduce instant coffee to the specialty coffee market. What I learned is that they make it for all of the leading brands: Verve, Intelligentsia, Sightglass, and a bunch of others, but they're just a small brand of about a dozen people out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They process some of the best coffees in the world and turn it into instant coffee. And this stuff actually tastes like instant coffee, and it doesn't have that nasty, acidic taste like you'd get from cheap instant coffee. Staying charged on trail is an absolute must for me, not just because I film, but because I need to stay in communication with my family back home. I've used multiple different battery banks from Rav Power to Nightcore, but the brand that I keep coming back to and trust the most is Anchor. I've found Anchor to be a battery bank that actually has the capacity that it states on the battery. We've been using this 20,000 milliamp hour battery for a few years now, and it works great. but maybe you don't need that capacity. So they offer lots of other smaller battery banks that are also very lightweight. I've been asked more about what pants I've been wearing in a video than any other piece of clothing that I have on. My pants of choice for the past year or so have been the Fjällräven Abisko Light Trekking Zip-Off Pants. They are the most comfortable pants I have ever worn on trail. They have a 4-way stretch fabric and a G1000 polyester blend that make for a really fast drying pair of pants. The darker areas on the pants are reinforcement areas for when you're kneeling or sitting. I also love that the knees are pre-shaped and let me kneel down without having the pants right up on my calves. For colder adventures, I use the Fjällräven Keb trousers. They're very similar to the Abisko Light pants, but have more reinforcement and are a bit more robust. Water filtering is one of my least favorite things to do backpacking, but I found something that makes it not only extremely easy, but also allows you to carry extra water for times when you're cooking more or you have dry miles to hike. It's the NOC Vecto water bladder, and it comes in a 1 liter, 2 liter, or 3 liter capacity, and will work with virtually any water filter on the market because it also comes in a 28mm or 42mm thread. The best part about this bladder is its wide opening to scoop water super easily. No more trying to scoop water with that tiny opening with your water bottle. It's also robust enough to strap to the top of your backpack. What gear do you take as an accessory to your backpacking trips? Let us all know in the comments below, and we will see you on the next one.